Hey, good afternoon, guys. It's KB5MIQ Big Boy. Old ham radio cat jumped up here. I think she got some sinus issues going on, so we've been having to kind of keep an eye on her. Guys, well, we're going to kick off a 1,700 subscriber giveaway Saturday night. I hadn't got a prize yet. I'm going to try to get up MTC Friday or Saturday and get something, but we'll kick it off Saturday night. Thank y'all. We're at 1,708 subscribers, and when I started this channel, I never thought we'd get there. So I'm enjoying doing this as long as y'all are enjoying listening to me, so I appreciate it. Yes, it's hard not to keep rehashing certain subjects, but I still see a lot of these subjects being brought up in social media, new guys asking questions. That's what this channel's always been about, help new guys and people like me that's on a budget get on the air and get them on HF. All right, let's talk a little bit about QSL cards, QSL, and how important I still think that is to the hobby. It gives you a good personal contact with somebody. It's good to have on the wall of your shack. I've showed y'all mine here before. I made a contact 2 days ago, the first time I ever talked to a Russian station since I've been a ham. Got the guy on 10 meters. I think it was R5AJ, I believe. He's got a YouTube channel. Good contact. Actually, he answered the email, so I sent a card off today. Hopefully I can show y'all that card when I get it in. I love to get cards from countries I don't have. I've already got all 50 states, so I'm shooting for countries and islands and things like that. Just a good way to personalize the hobby and generate interest. And when people come in your shack and they see your cards displayed, it kind of catches eyes and causes people to ask questions, especially non-hams. So it's just a good thing to do in the hobby. I know a lot of people fuss about postage and things like that, but I learned something today, because I live in a small town. Usually I've had to go to the next town to buy my international stamps. I went up there today because I had this guy's card ready to go. Of course, my little post office didn't have any, but she said, I can put the postage on it for the same price. You don't have to have the stamp. I can run it through the machine. And she did, $1.65, it left. So just something to think about. If you want to send an international card and you don't have international stamps, you got access to a post office, they can still send it for you. Just tell them it's going internationally. It's a good tip. I didn't know it. I may not buy any more stamps. Since I live here close and retired, it's real easy for me to send any overseas cards out when the post office is open. Still seeing lots of guys trying to choose their first HF radio and to get on the air. Right now, 10 meters is rolling. It really is. We had 5 or 6 check-ins the other night on our 10 meter group. Always enjoy having that. That's the reason we do that group on 10 meters is because when the band's open, we usually get some people, usually from the West Coast. Sometimes we get East Coast check-ins, but we get a lot of check-ins. Guys, getting on 10 meters right now is super easy to make contacts. Build an antenna. You know, I sat there, I got thinking a while ago, we got a new guy, Harold, KF5FSI, I believe is his call sign. I ain't got it right in front of me. He just checked in with us. He's down here on sometime there several times a year at his cabin. Everybody in the group, exception of me, is running some kind of variation with homemade antenna, and they're all making contacts. He said he had worked Russia. the other day. Sam work in Europe on wire dipoles. Carl, everybody is working Europe, and DX Contacts on homemade antennas. Cody, Jeff, and Tim all made rotatable dipoles out of old aluminum poles. Kent and Adam are running 160 meter loops they've got up that they made. You can work 10 meters cheaply with an antenna, any kind of antenna. Homemade dipole cut for 10 works great. Now, like I said before, you got to have antenna, coax, power supply, radio. 12 volt radio, easy enough to go with. That's easy enough to put a battery down, battery charger, whatever you can come up with. Let's talk about choosing HF rigs. And a good way to study HF rigs, so you get a little background on them before you go to a ham fest, or you contact MTC or whatever for a used rig. I've done this for years when I was a gun trader. I study the subject matter before I ever go shopping. Same thing at ham radio. You got access to lots of information. It's online now that's easily accessible. If you don't know much about different HF radios, I don't recommend you buying off eBay because of things that eBay does now, but get on eBay and search ham radio transceivers and just scroll and look at the pictures and look at what they're asking, and just you'll see how many different radios has been available over the years that still show up at swap meets and ham fests. And Richard gets them in trade-ins all the time. If you want to find out more about a specific radio, go to eham.net under product reviews, and you can find the reviews there people's wrote about every piece of ham equipment I guess ever made, from towers, antennas, meters, amps, radios, VHF, UHF, HF, everything. All I'm saying is research what you're looking for before you go try to buy. Now, you ask Richard up there at MTC, he's not going to steer you wrong. He'll tell you about a radio and help you find something that'll fit your budget if it's possible, and he won't steer you wrong on whether the radio's any good or not. Hamfest, you're kind of, I have gotten bit a time or two, and the last time or two I've had good luck with it. You just have to judge the person you're dealing with. But if you know a little bit before you get there about the products you're looking for, I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Kenwood come out with a TS440S back in the late 90s or early 90s sometime. Hot selling radio. All at once, people started having trouble with them. They started having some problems, and they had some kind of, I think, a grounding issue in the boards that after so long was causing problems. And it was kind of an issue with several of them. I know an older ham at Silent Key now had one of them, and he explained to us he was a repair guy, and he said he was on the phone with a Kenwood rep about 2 hours with his tore apart till he got his fixed. Another example is the ICOM 746 Pro, an early 2000s radio, I believe. A friend of mine had one of them. And they used to sell that as a package deal with a switching power supply, because this was about the time switching power supplies came out. He had some issues with his, and come to find out, several issues had popped up with that radio. I'm not knocking Kenwood. I'm not knocking ICOM. Yaesu's had the same issues with certain kinds of radio. My 897, for instance, after about 10 years, I think I'd had mine 12, there's 3 filters that go bad in it. And they're 75-cent a piece filters that cost me a $70 shop fee to get them installed. But it was a common thing that happened on those radios after 10 to 12 years. There's always going to be something like that out there, and that's why I recommend research. eham.net, you read reviews about every piece of equipment that Hams has wrote, and that'll help you decide, hey, is this radio what I need or whatever? Richard MTC will help you decide. Just get something that will get you on the air. We're going to be doing some upcoming videos on this tube rig I got here, and I don't really recommend tube rigs for inexperienced operators for their first radio. I'm not an experienced tube guy, so I might have help getting this one going. But there's tons of older, all solid state radios out there. The one thing you need to remember on an older HF rig, say like this 701 or the Kenwood 180S, Jeff had one of those, they don't have SWR protection built in them. So you got to make sure you got a good tuner or your antenna's cut right so you won't damage the radio. And I know firsthand because I burned a set of finals up in my first one. Guys, it's just tips to kind of help you decide what you're going to do and get into the hobby. But the main thing is I want to get you on HF now on 10 meters making contacts. You'll have a lot of fun with it. You'll make a lot of contacts. It'll give you experience because I feel like this. I've always said if you just stay with a talkie on repeaters, you're going to get bored with the hobby. All right. And may not renew your ticket. By the same token, if you jump straight to general class without ever getting on HF and making some bunch of contacts, making some random contacts, and so you just immediately go to the low bands and start trying to hang out with some of those nets and stuff down there, A, you're going to be chastised pretty quick if you make any mistakes. B, I'm afraid it'll get boring after a while. To me, the fun part of the hobby is making contacts and set goals for yourself. Hey, I want to get work every state. I want to work as many countries as I can work. Islands. My favorite thing is get island contacts. I keep all my island contacts separate. South America, Central America, there's tons of operators on there from Brazil, Argentina, Chile that are on the air daily, and you can make a lot of good 10-meter contacts just like that. The main thing is we want you on the air, we want you enjoying the hobby and having fun with it. There's all kinds of things you can do after you get your general class license and get down on the low bands. If that's your thing, you have had it. But it's expensive. This is some ways to get on that are less expensive and get you in here and get you interested and get you some experience. That's what we're trying to do. Guys, we're going to announce the 1,700 sub giveaway Saturday night with the prize. I appreciate everybody who subscribed to the channel. Richard's got tons of used gear up there, so be sure to call MTC. If he doesn't have anything on the website, just check with them, see if they got it. Thanks everybody who subscribed to the channel. Me and old Ham Radio Cat enjoy talking to you. It's KB5 MIQ Big Boy 73.